Good morning, natural gas. It's Wednesday, July the 8th, 2026. I'm Tim Beggins, president of Elk Trading Company. And for the spot August natural gas contract, we're currently trading at $3.27.5, up about 1 cent here. That's it, 0.31%. The RSI is going sideways. We're looking for storage tomorrow around plus 55 BCF, but that's bearish versus last year and the 5-year average, which unfortunately, we're just slightly lower. So as you can see right here, we are going sideways. We're up just a tad bit overnight because, well, we're trading shots with Iran yet again in the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to talk about that. And yes, there was an LNG tanker that was hit. Let's take a look at the hourly chart. And this is down for the moment. As you can see here, we are currently down, but we are close to the daily pivot, which came in at 325.5. Could not sustain any momentum here above first resistance, which came in at 333. The RSI is turning lower. So we'll expect that prices will start to push down toward the pivot. And if we start pushing down below that, again, first support here comes in at 319.10. So let's take a look at the front to back spreads here. This is Jan versus the October. Sorry for the ads here. Oops. We are looking a little bit higher on the day here. We are up 2.4 cents here, or over 2% here. The RSI is trying to turn to the upside right now. So we'll see if we can go back and test that 125. That was support, now resistance here. And that is because of the weakness up on the front end of the board. Not because of heat, but it's just not moving anywhere. Let's take a look at the Novi through March strip here. And again, this thing is also up a little bit, up 3.1 cents here, 0.85%. The RSI is trying to turn to the upside. But note, since our peak here on May the 4th, this thing has been trending lower. We keep making new lows here and lower highs. So yes, we could go back here, test 384.10's resistance once support, and we'll see if it just tilts back down again. Why? Super El Nino concerns here that we're going to have a warm winter. Let's talk about the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook. And as you can see, unfortunately, the mid-Atlantic states near normal and below normal for New England, parts of New Hampshire, Vermont, and of course, Maine. Above normal temperatures, Florida and the interior west. That is going to be our pattern for the next 7 to 10 days. And let's take a look at the heat risk. And as you can see right now, most of the heat is concentrated between Texas, Florida, and the Carolinas. And as we move into Thursday, tomorrow, we're getting extreme heat across Florida and the Carolinas. This gets worse as we get into Florida, 11.3 million people under extreme heat risk. And again, major heat risk between Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, all the way back into Missouri and across the southeast. This continues to push in on Saturday here, mainly in Georgia and Florida. As you can see, a major heat risk in the northern tier of the country, Montana, the Dakotas, and parts of Minnesota. This eases up a little bit, but look at the extremes now starting to show up in Wyoming and Montana. Extreme heat up there. And of course, there is still drought. And that goes into South Dakota on Monday. And then Tuesday, it's the same thing. So we're not getting the populated, weighted natural gas demand in the Northeast as much as we have seen this past week, but now it's in the upper Midwest and across from Texas to Florida. So we'll see if this July pattern continues. And let's take a look at the models here. And as you can see, this is the heat index map here. And we start seeing well above normal temperatures here. This is the triple digits we start seeing across the south here, Florida mainly at this stage. You can see some cooler weather coming through the Great Lakes into the mid-Atlantic states, and keeping that above normal temperatures mainly confined to the southeast or upper Midwest. This continues here all the way through the 23rd. As you can see right now, let's see, that goes back here one. Let's take it back one. As you can see right there on the 23rd, mainly in the interior West, California, Arizona, New Mexico, into Texas here. So it looks like we're getting a little bit of relief from some of those major heat risks in the Northeast. And let's take a look at ERCOT. This is the power market here. We can see that renewables are going to be a little bit over 43,000 megawatts potential today out of our demand, near 85,000 megawatts here in ERCOT. Yes, it's a strong, strong day in ERCOT. And as a result, natural gas is still pulling some market share here, almost 33%, but solar and wind are doing well today. So mainly solar, but wind is holding in there despite the heat. And let's look at the power grids. And of course, our stress is going to be in SPP and MISO today, as well as PJM. So still warm temperatures, and that means higher power prices. We are starting to see some lower peaks here, but that is because temperatures are starting to decline. And let's look at the news overnight. And this was the LNG tanker that was hit off of Oman. This is the Strait of Hormuz to the north here. This tanker, LNG tanker owned by Qatar, was hit by a drone near the engine room. So it is at anchor right now, assessing damage. This was one of 3 ships hit in the Strait of Hormuz in the last 48 hours. And let's take a look at US LNG. This is Cameron LNG, steady as she goes, almost 1.47 out of 1.56. Again, big box LNG cannot be at 100% when it's this hot and this humid across the US Gulf Coast. And let's take a look at Creole Trail here. This feeds Sabine Pass. And as you can see, there's over a half a BCF of capacity here. Why? Because we're still doing compressor work here at Gillis. This lasts through today, and then we get another bout again in late August. Let's take a look at Corpus Christi, also doing compressor work here at Sinton Compressor Station, and that has over almost half a BCF also of open capacity. And let's take a look at the LNG for Venture Global. And this is Trans Cameron. This feeds Calcasieu Pass. And again, same thing, steady as she goes. He still has open capacity there. That has been the normal for the last few weeks. And how about Plaquemines? There's actually a little bit of open capacity here, just under 12,000 MMBTUs. And that's been running steady as she goes, namely over nameplate capacity, but that's typical right here. And Freeport running about 1.9 BCF, that's steady as she goes as well. And also Golden Pass running over 500,000 MMBTUs, that's also doing very well. And let's take a look at the tropics. And you can see in the basically the Bay of Campeche, we've got some storm activity there. We're going to keep a careful eye on it, but it doesn't look like it has much potential for development at this time. And speaking of tropical development, well, you know, much of the same. This dust is going to come in, and it is going into South Texas right now. As you can see, another big part of that plume is heading toward the U.S. Gulf of America / Mexico, and even more behind it is crossing into the Windward Islands. This is going to block any development in the mid-Atlantic for hurricanes. So quiet as we go. And here's the stocks in the oil and gas E&P sector catching a bid this morning because of the Strait of Hormuz activity and the tit for tat for between the United States and Iran for attacks. So as you can see right now behind me, Magnolia almost up 1% here. It's mostly a sea of green. So recapping here for the spot August natural gas contract, we're currently trading at $327.80, up 1.3 cents here, or 0.4%. Going sideways, waiting for storage tomorrow. Expectations around plus 55 BCF, close to the 5-year average, close to last year, but slightly bearish. So weather is good, but not in the populated weighted areas we saw last week in the Northeast. So things are just going sideways. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.